Hi.
Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for allowing us to share with you a little bit of how we think about automation and AI. My name is Kumar, and what I do a lot is help companies drive productivity through automation and AI, and that's a lot of the work I do. Or as my 7-year-old says it, I help people build things, but it's not buildings. So what we wanted to do today is we heard a lot about how automation and AI can fundamentally change the way we interact with things, can fundamentally change the experiences we have, and it is going to change the way we interact with the world. And this is about work, right? So it's creatively constructing the way we do work differently. It's about bringing new experiences. And the most important element as part of that is not the strategy of what to do. Well, that's important. It's a little different in this case. Pivoting that and driving execution at scale is what we think about a lot. And how do you make the change to the shift in processes? How do you bring the human-machine working together in a symbiotic way? And how do you drive an accretive, profitable organization using these technologies? What we thought today we would do is to share with you two cases on how we think about this. One is one of our clients, Mindy Simon, and she's gone through both a challenging situation with her organization in terms of bringing it to profitability, and now in a mode where they're driving growth and acquisitions. And then I have my partner here, Sanjay, who will talk a little bit about what we are doing internally to change how our teams and our consultants work under an umbrella called Your Tomorrow. With that, could you play the video, please?
When you try to ask someone to envision how work can be transformed, that's a big ask. You know, there's some people that naturally can come and have that vision. There are others that intellectually know that it's capable, but how you actually translate that into the context of what they do every day is harder. I'd say my biggest piece of advice to folks is focus on what business problems you're trying to solve. It's very easy technically to think we need to be working on blockchain, or we need to be working on, AI or machine learning or whatever that is. Inverse it and think, what are your biggest problems? And can digital solve those or help solve those problems? And it becomes much easier to understand where you should be making your investments. Historically, a lot of times people have challenged how much you're spending on technology. And if you do it right, you should have the inverse question of, are we spending enough on technology? And the only way you can flip that dialogue is if people know and trust that what you're doing is adding value and solving problems and helping companies to grow. And if you can get to that aspect, then it's about prioritizing the biggest value and going after it. So what we're trying to do is to really come across with what are the high value either processes or business problems that we have, and then what is that library of digital capabilities that can help enable them to make sure that they can connect the dots on problem or value with capability, and then be able to prioritize to drive those. Start with your business strategy and take your business strategy, look at what are the capabilities that you need to enable that, and then look how digital could marry up and apply to those capabilities to really take them to the next level. And it makes it much easier to start off with versus trying to do a digital strategy. For a lot of companies, a full-on digital strategy may not make sense, but a business strategy coupled with digital capabilities may be a good place to start. If anyone in the audience is thinking, I own the digital agenda, you can start hyperventilating about that. Whereas if you realize that the entire company needs to own the digital agenda and transformation, and how do you help the company have that vision and develop that vision to where it's co-led and co-owned, that's what's exciting, because then you're doing it as a team instead of trying to take the hill as an individual, and things are always more fun as a team.
Thank you. And what we thought we'd segue is we're not just telling our clients how to do this, but we are also doing a little bit of this internally within PwC. We have an umbrella initiative called Your Tomorrow. And Sanjay, if you could share with us what Your Tomorrow is and why it's important to us.
Certainly. So first of all, thank you everybody for giving us your time. Now, in terms of Your Tomorrow is an initiative that PwC started about 2 years ago. What we realized from our clients, as well as our employees themselves, is that they wanted to all see the digital agenda come alive in PwC, right? So they want to see that our employees, our staff is able to talk the talk and be able to deliver digital in the work that they do for their clients. So that's where it all started. The goal of this effort is to train all of our individuals in the basic technologies, AI, blockchain, automation, RPA, so that they're all able to turn around and provide that to our clients in the client work that we deliver.
And what do you see as our opportunities and challenges in taking on this agenda?
Certainly. I think the biggest issue, and we touched upon that in the first talk here, was how do you get people to adopt, right? How do you get the traction that you need? So what we created very thoughtfully, I think you see that on the board, is citizen-led and business-led. And what we mean by citizen-led is all of the employees, the 300,000 employees that PwC has globally, 60,000 plus in US, all of those are thinking about how do they participate? What do they want to get out of it? So what we have done is we have provided training for them. We have provided apps in which they can go study the topics. There are academies where they can go and essentially learn hands-on. They have online help. There are a variety of tools with which they are able to get all of this and then contribute back, right? So not only get educated, but we also have created platform where they can create the automation and distribute that to the rest of the company. And that's what you see in the middle called Digital Lab. This is something that we have created to enable all of that. So to your question, what are the opportunities? What are the issues? It's actually getting people to really believe in this, getting people to contribute to the rest of the company. And when you see business-led, a lot of it is about being able to take these best ideas and putting companies' investment behind it to then make it robust, world-class, and deliver it to the rest of the company.
So Sanjay, as we democratize the way we internalize automation and AI, how does this change the way we do business? And how does it impact the way we serve our clients?
Absolutely. So one of the biggest goals we had is to make sure that, number one, all our employees are skilled in the digital technologies. So that was one. This is what you see in terms of the education and the opportunities we brought to our folks. The second biggest goal is to make sure that the clients see that value, right? And the clients see the increase in quality, increase in speed, and just generally more value being delivered by our employees, by our teams, which are at the client side, all day long. So what this has been able to do is our frontline consultants are able to use these and have delivered automation, have delivered much better integration of data. So not just sort of human-led, but machine-led, AI-led integration, which has led to better quality and faster output for our clients.
Okay. So as we take on, and we heard from Mindy a little bit, that this has to be an organization-wide initiative. Can you share with us some level of the scale in which we are taking it on, examples of the investments we are making, and more some anecdotes about the innovation that this is driving?
No, happy to. So of the target population that we went after for the Your Tomorrow program, almost 80 to 90% is through to a certain level that we wanted them to go through. We have created about 8 or 9 different types of educational assets, and each one of them gets some traction, somewhere in the range of, let's say, a quarter of our population is able to use it. So all of this helps our staff to get to a certain level. We call that digital badges that we issue based on being able to not only educate, but also pass certain skills tests. And I mean, we're pretty proud of where the folks are. I think within 2 years, we have taken our people from the start to a finish line that we set for ourselves for this intermediate stage of about 80-90% people being there.
Great.
Now, in terms of the anecdotes and examples you were asking for, there are a lot. Let me just pull one where in our tax service line, one of the associates looked at the data that comes in from which they created a couple of reports. And it took time, right? It was multi-week effort to create the reports. Now, having all of this capability that we just talked about, basics of AI data wrangling, having new tools for visualization, they were able to do that in essentially 5 minutes, right? They looked at all the repeated work that they were doing, and they coded that in, created the bots, created the assets, which are now available to everybody in the company. So all of the tax teams which are dealing with something similar can take that and deliver that really, really fast.
Right. Thank you for sharing with us on your tomorrow. And just to summarize, when you think about driving execution and change at scale using automation and AI, 3 parting thoughts. One is it's about how we change the way we work, and automation and people have to come together to work differently. 2, this is about including the people in your journey, not doing it to them, but doing it with them, bringing them along and scaling. And the last part, and I think this is, to me, most important, it's not about a one-hit wonder. It's not about these anecdotes where there's some great outcomes, but it's about fundamentally building the muscle. And it's like health and fitness in how you drive the change. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.